with the animated Spider-Man. Spider-Man the animated series. It's been a long time since I've done this. You can tell. I keep messing up the intro. Yeah, but this is going to be Season 1, Episode 3 of Spider-Man the animated series. Yes. And yeah, like I said, it's been a few weeks since I've recorded this. You might be able to tell in the last episode that I did that it's been a while. I don't know. I'm just getting adjusted to this new schedule, trying to do everything. So yeah, it's taking a bit of time to get used to it, and as a result, I'm missing off a few weeks. So yeah, the first two episodes have been in the can for a while. It's been like the last month or so that those two episodes have been in the can for, but since I record in advance for my patrons, I can't start releasing them just yet until I've recorded at least 4 episodes in advance. So yeah, since this is episode 3, there's no way I can be 4 episodes in advance. So we're just gonna move into what was last episode. We got introduced to Felicia Hardy, we had Flash Thompson, we had Harry Osborn, we had Kingpin, we had the Spider Slayer thing, we had the death of Smythe, what was his name? Something Smythe. And then the son was in the wheelchair and he's been hired by Kingpin to get revenge on the man responsible for his father's disappearance. That's the PG version of it. He's dead. So I think we can just move right on into it. So let us just get into Spider-Man the Animated Series, Season 1, Episode 3, starting right now. Return of the Spider Slayer. Okay, yeah, this is definitely a 2-parter. I should have watched this after the last one.
Dates.
Mrs.
Okay,
Watson?
okay. If it makes you happy, you can tell Mrs. Watson that I'll take her niece out. But just this one time. Yeah. Okay, bye.
I know that name, Watson. I know that name.
Black Widow. I thought I destroyed that thing months ago.
Months ago. It's a bit of a time skip. Cool.
Someone's rebuilt it. This ought to sizzle your circuits.
Okay, it's cool that we can see the sound waves.
I better check this out. Huh? Another one. And it's
Oh!
bigger.
Oh god, that's a bigger one. Big one.
Think fast, webhead, think fast.
Where's the building, bro?
Yes, he nails the dismount. Didn't mean to drop in without a reservation. Look out!
That's a big one.
This lab becomes yours if and only if you destroy Spider-Man.
But the revenge for what happened to my father will be mine.
And the little one is back up and running. Oh, oh, oh. Innocent civilian, save her.
Spider-Man! Get away from here!
Huh? Don't think it's getting away. Yep, it got him. It got him.
I've waited a long time to see you apprehended. Now let's see who's under that mask.
Hey, hold it. When was the last time you washed your hands?
Hey, what gives, Smite?
It's obvious. He wants a mate, and you're the lucky guy.
What's he wanting him for?
No, take it back. It clashes with the color of my costume.
A perfect fit. Powerful explosive. It's set to detonate in 1 hour.
You
Hey,
stuck.
don't look at me. Maybe you didn't deliver his paper this morning.
What are you, nuts?
You have to ask.
You and your web sleep. Why don't you attach yourself to this bomb and leave me out of it?
Ever thought of becoming a family therapist?
Quiet! We're both responsible.
He's not playing with a full deck. Well, you should understand that.
You should be grateful, James.
Peter's so snarky this episode.
Can't you pry this thing off?
You want a trial separation already. I understand, but I'm hurt.
Enough talk, my spider slayer.
You're such a snarky bitch, Peter.
You're severely bruising my wrist.
Coyotes caught in traps? Chew through their own legs. You could try that.
Okay, Mr. Smartmouth.
Until I can figure out a way to get this bomb off us, you're coming along for the ride. So fasten your safety belt.
Let's go. Hello.
Is this another one of your gags, Flash Thompson?
No!
At least he saved her. At least he saved her. I was expecting less.
Looks like we got here just in time. Lasers! Exactly what I need!
You're crazy. What are you doing?
Just cutting the ties is fine.
Okay, that didn't take long.
Run! I'll keep this thing
But
busy.
he's still got the bomb attached to him.
I hope nobody wants to see my unit card. Or my exterminator's license. That's got to stop it.
Or not. Or yes.
Get a crew out to here.
I promise you will not get any trouble from me.
Here we go. And goodbye to your job.
You just won't stop till you ruin me, will you? Use your head for once, Brock. I'm trying to save your life.
Hey, Brock, such a sour bitch. Okay.
Shut.
Jameson was right. You're fired.
No. No! He's done it to me again!
I'll get even with you. I'll get even with you if it's the last thing I do.
Hey? Since when was this his problem? Spider Slayer Mark III. And it... Oh, it's a scorpion! It's a scorpion! It's a scorpion. It's not the real scorpion, but it's a scorpion. He's got... How is he going to beat 3 robots? Yo, Norman's got a full-on army. Why does he need to become the Green Goblin?
Well, that answers my question. The biggest spider slayer yet, and I have only minutes to stop it before this bomb blows.
You've got 40 minutes.
Don't worry. It's harmless now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I completely forgot about that thing being destroyed, but I guess it's not anymore. And, yeah, I forgot about that one as well. They're all on their way.
I'm out of web fluid. Now's as good a time as any to change cartridges.
Yeah, of course. If you're out, refill. Oh! Oh! They're combining! Yo, they got some pretty impressive things. That's a hell of a death machine. You know what, it might be easier to beat it all when it's all combined in one. At least you're not dealing with 3 separate targets.
Okay.
Good, evacuating. Here it comes! Lee.
Another 15 minutes anyway.
That went down incredibly fast.
Liquid oxygen. The same way the Slayer's freeze ray worked on that street lamp. Another example of better living through chemistry. How much time? I gotta move fast. I'll take this little plate
To the robot. Yep. The George Washington Bridge. Norman, you're going to have a big future here. Drop down.
Just the right position. I hate to borrow someone else's line, but it's clobbering time.
Hey! Bye-bye.
You promised me you'd destroy Spider-Man. You'll work for me until you do.
The worst thing about a secret identity is that you can't ask someone else to do your sewing.
Peter, I hope you're getting ready for your date with Mary Jane Watson tonight.
My blind date. Don't I get a last meal?
Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot.
Yep. That's always the line. There we go, there she is. Mary Jane Watson have a voice? Yes, she did, of course. Saratoga Valentine. Don't know who she is. I don't know who any of them is. Jennifer Hale, I recognise that one. Felicia Hardy. No one else I recognise. But then again, this was the early 90s, so I'm not expecting that much. A fun episode. A hell of a fun episode. Yes! I enjoyed this a lot. You know what? I'm just going to get the ranking out of the way first. You know what? We will go straight to the top. Episode 3 takes the number 3. Well, episode 3 takes the number 1 spot. So it goes from bottom to top, 1, 2, 3. And that is what you want for a series. You want every episode to get better. Although I feel like that's not going to keep up. But anyway, yeah, hell of a fun episode. A nice way to spend 20 minutes. First of all, we had the reference of the book and... Okay, we'll go for the bookends. The beginning of the episode and the end of the episode. The blind date. The blind date with Miss Watson's niece. From the second you hear that name Watson, you know who's coming on. You know who's coming. Yes, Mary Jane Watson, the number 1 Spider-Man girl. Spider-Man has had a lot of girls in his time. Felicia Hardy, Liz Allen, Betty Brant. There have been others, but yeah, there are a lot. Gwen Stacy as well. So yeah, there have been a lot of girls in Spider-Man's past, but Mary Jane is the number 1, and only in the 3rd episode. Okay, I'm surprised Felicia Hardy was the first one introduced though. But you know, Mary Jane is going to be the number 1. This is the definitive Spider-Man show, I think. Like, this is the definitive version of Spider-Man that most people know. So Mary Jane has got to be the definitive girl, because she is the number 1 definitive girl in all of Spider-Man. Yeah, and then we saw her at the end, and she's got the classic line, "Face it, Tiger, you've just hit the jackpot." That is the line she says when she first meets him in the comics. And it's also in Spectacular Spider-Man as well, when she first meets him. So that is the third... Well, that is the second time I've heard it. It's the 3rd time we've seen it. Well, third time I've seen it. So, yeah. A follow-on from last episode with the Spider Slayer coming back. He said he thought he destroyed it months ago, so it's been a bit of a time skip. Bear in mind, though, it would have taken a bit of a time skip for Smythe to get that hover chair and to build a new Spider Slayer. It would have taken a bit of time. So it's been a few months. Yeah, the Black Widow came back. You've got to change that name. Was the character of Black Widow a thing when this show came out? I've got to suspect it is. I am going to Google it. This show was in the early 90s. I'm going to Google when Black Widow was created. 1964. The Black Widow's first appearance was 1964, which is before this show. So, yeah. You cannot call that robot the Black Widow, because it's not. It's not the Black Widow. It is... Call it the Spider Slayer. Call it the Spider Slayer. Because this episode was Return of the Spider Slayers. Call it the Spider Slayer. But why are we complaining? There's no point. I can't change a show from 20 years ago, nearly 30 years ago. But yeah. Then we had a bigger Black Widow show up. A bigger Black Widow show up. And... between the two of them, after a little fight, they managed to capture him. They had quite a few array of weapons: gas attacks, lasers, harpoons, a freeze ray. But yeah, between the power of the two of them, they were able to capture Spider-Man, take him back to Smythe's lab, where he's working for Kingpin. But we didn't see... Spider-Man and Kingpin didn't interact. They never saw each other. But yeah, Spider-Man was caught. Smythe lured Jameson there because he knows, like, he'll want to see Spider-Man unmasked. But when Jameson got there, he cuffs them both together with a giant bomb. He cuffs them both together with a bomb. So I thought that was going to be the whole premise of the whole episode. He was cuffed to Jameson, and they had to just tolerate each other. But then again, it's a little too early in the series for them to sort of regain any sort of respect for each other. If an episode like this was to happen, it would happen towards the end of the series, if you wanted to get Spider-Man and Jameson working together. So I should have expected that. I mean, I didn't expect him to get the bomb off as soon as he did. It literally came off like 5 minutes after it went on. So yeah, for at least a time he was cuffed to Jameson. And I just love that Jameson is like, well, what are you going to do about it if I just decide to sit here? Bro, Spider-Man's got super strength. And don't you just love how snarky Spider-Man was in that scene? Where he was just giving it back to Jameson. I love a snarky Spider-Man. Whilst those two are cuffed together with the bomb, I don't know why Smythe just let them go, but he's probably thinking the bomb will just do its work when it's time, and he definitely doesn't want them in his lab when it goes off. So he does that, and he just leaves those two to their own devices, and he lets the Spider Slayers off to get Flash Thompson, Eddie Brock, and Norman Osborn. 3 people that we shouldn't care to let survive. Because they've all got their own issues with Spider-Man, sort of. They've all got their own issues with Peter or Spider-Man. Yeah, I wouldn't say any of them were really grateful to be saved. Especially not Eddie Brock. So it goes after Flash Thompson first, who's just been on a date with Felicia Hardy. Lucky guy. And then the Spider Slayer shows up. Felicia immediately thinks it's a prank. But yeah, no. At least he saved her. He got her away, told her to run. That's more than I expected from Flash. I would have expected him to try and save himself. But cool. He's got some merit to him. But yeah, then that one is so then Jameson and Spider-Man arrive. They use the laser that the Spider Slayer is using to cut off the bomb, at least from Jameson. So he's got the bomb severed from Jameson, but he's still got it attached to him. He saves Jameson, saves Flash, and he uses the crane to at least temporarily destroy that Spider Slayer. Cool. We're not gonna care about damage to property, are we? No, guess not. But then, in another place, Eddie Brock has been fired from Jameson. I suppose I didn't really catch that moment last episode. So, yeah, Eddie Brock's been fired. He blames Spider-Man. Then, the second he gets hired at another place, he says he won't be trouble. The bigger Spider Slayer comes after him. Another fight comes around with Spider-Man versus the bigger Spider Slayer. He manages to beat it, and yeah, Eddie Brock's just blaming Spider-Man all over again. So yeah, don't know what that's all about. Yeah, he's just going to blame Spider-Man for it, even though it was after him, and Spider-Man saved your life. Ungrateful little shit. But yeah, so the small one went after Flash. The bigger one went after Eddie Brock. But then the mahoosive scorpion-looking one goes after Norman Osborn. That thing was a beast. It goes in there, just decimates Norman's robot army. These flying drones, these tanks that he's got all over Oscorp. It's amazing that this show was in the 90s and they're supposed to have technology like that. It's firing lasers. They've got tanks. They've got flying drones. We don't have much of that stuff today, but still, I don't know what the hell kind of company Oscorp is in this show. But it just seems to be like his own private military base. But then, that all 3 of them reactivate. The 2 bigger ones that Spider-Man beat earlier reactivate, and they combine up with the bigger one. Wow. And Spider-Man's still got the bomb attached to him. He goes to Oscorp, trying to get to Norman Osborn, who gets away in his car barely. The thing gives chase. Oh no! At Oscorp, Spider-Man found liquid oxygen. I don't know what liquid oxygen is. He could have said liquid nitrogen. It would have made more sense. But yeah, apparently there's liquid oxygen. Throws the cuff on the bomb so he could get the bomb off, and yeah, that leads to Norman drives his car to the George Washington Bridge, where he will have a lovely future, I'm sure. There's been a lot of times in Spider-Man history where the Green Goblin and Spider-Man have fought on the George Washington Bridge. In the Spider-Man movie as well, with Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe. There's been a lot of fights there, not to mention it's also where Gwen Stacy died in the comics. To the Green Goblin, I might add. So yeah. But this isn't quite to do with the Green Goblin just yet. Norman Osborn is there, but this is a fight with Spider-Man and the Spider Slayer. And he jumps on top of the Spider Slayer, plants the bomb, and then just lets it go off. It falls to the river, and now Smythe is basically a prisoner of Kingpin now, although I'm not too sure if he's unhappy about it. Because while he's here, he wants to kill Spider-Man. He's got all the resources he could ever need. Why would he want to leave Kingpin at this moment? It's not like he's got anywhere better to go. I'm sure he won't want to work with Norman Osborn. So Kingpin's basically the only one here in this show, at least, who can give him what he needs to beat Spider-Man. So why would he want to leave? And then at the end, Peter's all down in... I think it's the first time we saw Peter Parker this episode at the end. We saw a little bit of his face at the beginning when he was on the phone, but I think that was the first time we saw his face. At the end of the episode, when he's back at Aunt May's house, he's talking about all the stuff that's made his life... Like, yeah, he's beaten, he's bruised, his costume's torn up, and he's got nothing to show for it. And on top of that, he's got a blind date that he doesn't want to go to. But then, I think his opinion changed. His mind changed when he opened that door and saw that redhead. I was about to say I'd love to get set up on a date with that redhead, but then again, I have to be very picky about. I won't say picky. I have to be very particular about any girl that I'd want to go out with, because I am. The Room speaks for itself. I am a nerd. I am a geek. I'm watching children's cartoons at 27 years old. And I'm recording it for YouTube. Like, I need a specific girl who'd want to go out with me. Is there anyone out there? Well, please let me know in the comments. God, I'm desperate. My workplace has done this to me. My workmates have a bad influence on me. So, that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I've already ranked the episode. It's the best one so far, and it was a fun episode. Yes. But that is all we've got for this week of Spider-Man the Animated Series. Until next time, we are over and out. Bye!